Chinese New Year is an important traditional Chinese holiday celebrated at the turn of the Chinese calendar. In China, it is also known as the Spring Festival, the literal translation of the modern Chinese name. Chinese New Year celebrations traditionally run from Chinese New Year's Eve, the last day of the last month of the Chinese calendar, to the Lantern Festival on the 15th day of the first month, making the festival the longest in the Chinese calendar. Because the Chinese calendar is lunisolar, the Chinese New Year is often referred to as the Lunar New Year. The source of Chinese New Year is itself centuries old and gains significance because of several myths and traditions. Traditionally, the festival was a time to honor deities as well as ancestors. Chinese New Year is celebrated in countries and territories with significant Chinese populations, including Mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Mauritius, Philippines, and also in Chinatowns elsewhere. Chinese New Year is considered a major holiday for the Chinese and has had influence on the Lunar New Year celebrations of its geographic neighbours. Within China, regional customs and traditions concerning the celebration of the Chinese New Year vary widely. Often, the evening preceding Chinese New Year's Day is an occasion for Chinese families to gather for the annual reunion dinner. It is also traditional for every family to thoroughly cleanse the house, in order to sweep away any ill fortune and to make way for good incoming luck. Windows and doors will be decorated with red color paper cuts and couplets with popular themes of good fortune, or happiness, wealth, and longevity. Other activities include lighting firecrackers and giving money in red paper envelopes. Although the Chinese calendar traditionally does not use continuously numbered years, outside China its years are often numbered from the reign of the 3rd millennium BC Yellow Emperor. But at least 3 different years numbered 1 are now used by various scholars, making the year beginning AD 2014 the Chinese year 4712, 4711, or 4651. Names in Chinese. Traditionally, the festivities surrounding Chinese New Year was known as the Nian Festival, which may be understood to as Festival of the Year, or New Year Festival. A derivative term, Guonian, is still commonly used to refer to the act of celebrating the arrival of the new year. An alternative name for Chinese New Year is New Year in the agricultural calendar, the agricultural calendar being one of the more common Chinese language names for the Chinese calendar in China. New Year's Day itself was traditionally named Yuandan, literally the first sunrise, but in 1913 the recently established Republic of China government appropriated that name to refer instead to New Year's Day in the newly adopted Gregorian calendar, with Chinese New Year instead being called Spring Festival, which remains the official name for the New Year's Day public holiday in both mainland China and Taiwan. Prior to 1913, Spring Festival instead referred to Lichun, the first solar term in a Chinese calendar year, which marked the end of winter and start of spring. An alternative name for Chinese New Year's Day means literally the first day of the year or to the first Euro. Pinyin, Nia En Ka Ya. The New Year's Day public holiday in Hong Kong and Macau is named in Chinese, as literally first day of the year in the agricultural calendar, while the official English name is the first day of Lunar New Year. Chinese New Year's Eve, a day where Chinese families gather for their annual reunion dinner, named as Nian Yi Fan, is known as Evening of the Passing. Dates. The lunisolar Chinese calendar determines the date of Chinese New Year. The calendar is also used in countries that have adopted or have been influenced by many Eastern Asian countries such as Korea, Japan and Vietnam. In the Gregorian calendar, Chinese New Year falls on different dates each year, a date between January 21st and February 20th. In the Chinese calendar, winter solstice must occur in the 11th month, which means that Chinese New Year usually falls on the second new moon after the winter solstice. In traditional Chinese culture, Lichun is a solar term marking the start of spring, which occurs about February 4th. The dates for Chinese New Year from 1996 to 2031 are above, along with the year's presiding animal zodiac and its earthly branch. The names of the earthly branches have no English counterparts and are not the Chinese translations of the animals. Alongside the 12-year cycle of the animal zodiac there is a 10-year cycle of heavenly stems. Each of the 10 heavenly stems is associated with one of the 5 elements of Chinese astrology, namely, wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. The elements are rotated every 2 years while a yin and yang association alternates every year. The elements are thus distinguished: yang wood, yang fire, yin fire, etc. These produce a combined cycle that repeats every 60 years. For example, the year of the Yang fire rat occurred in 1936 and in 1996, 60 years apart. Many confuse their Chinese birth year with their Gregorian birth year. As the Chinese New Year starts in late January to mid-February, the Chinese year dates from January 1st until that day, and the new Gregorian year remain unchanged from the previous Gregorian year. For example, the 1989 year of the snake began on February 6, 1989. The year 1990 is considered by some people to be the year of the horse. However, the 1989 year of the snake officially ended on February 8, 1990. This means that anyone born from January 1 to February 7, 1990 was actually born in the year of the snake rather than the year of the horse. Many online Chinese sign calculators do not account for the non-alignment of the two calendars, using Gregorian calendar years rather than official Chinese New Year dates. One scheme of continuously numbered Chinese calendar years assigns 4709 to the year beginning, 2011, but this is not universally accepted. The calendar is traditionally cyclical, not continuously numbered. Mythology. According to tales and legends, the beginning of Chinese New Year started with the fight against a mythical beast called the Nian. Nian would come on the first day of New Year to eat livestock, crops, and even villagers, especially children. To protect themselves, the villagers would put food in front of their doors at the beginning of every year. It was believed that after the Nian ate the food they prepared, it wouldn't attack any more people. One day people saw that the Nian was scared away by a little child wearing red. The villagers then understood that the Nian was afraid of the color red. Time when the new year was about to come, the villagers would hang red lanterns and red spring scrolls on windows and doors. People also used firecrackers to frighten away the Nian. From then on, Nian never came to the village again. The Nian was eventually captured by Onjun Laozu, an ancient Taoist monk. The Nian became Onjun Laozu's mount. Public holiday. Chinese New Year is observed as a public holiday in a number of countries and territories where a sizable Chinese population resides. Since Chinese New Year falls on different dates on the Gregorian calendar every year on different days of the week, some of these governments opt to shift working days in order to accommodate a longer public holiday. In some countries, a statutory holiday is added on the following workday when the New Year falls on a weekend, as in the case of 2013. Where the New Year's Eve falls on Saturday and the New Year's Day on Sunday. Festivities, preceding days, on the 8th day of the lunar month prior to Chinese New Year, the Laba holiday, a traditional porridge, Laba porridge, is served in remembrance of an ancient festival, called La, that occurred shortly after the winter solstice. Pickles such as Laba garlic, which turns green from vinegar, are also made on this day. For those that believe in Buddhism, the Laba holiday is also considered Body Day. Leiyu is a term often associated with Chinese New Year as it refers to the sacrifices held in honor of the gods in the 12th lunar month, hence the cured meats of Chinese New Year are known as laru. The porridge was prepared by the women of the household at first light, with the first bowl offered to the family's ancestors and the household deities. Every member of the family was then served a bowl, with leftovers distributed to relatives and friends. It's still served as a special breakfast on this day in some Chinese homes. The concept of the La month is similar to Advent in Christianity. Many families eat vegan on Chinese New Year Eve. The garlic and preserved meat are eaten on Chinese New Year Day. On the days immediately before the New Year celebration, Chinese families give their home a thorough cleaning. There is a Cantonese saying wash away the dirt on Ninya Bat, but the practice is not restricted to Ninya Bat. It is believed the cleaning sweeps away the bad luck of the preceding year and makes their homes ready for good luck. Brooms and dustpans are put away on the first day so that the newly arrived good luck cannot be swept away. Some people give their homes, doors and window frames a new coat of red paint. Decorators and paper hangers do a year-end rush of business prior to Chinese New Year. Homes are often decorated with paper cutouts of Chinese auspicious phrases and couplets. Purchasing new clothing and shoes also symbolize a new start. Any haircuts need to be completed before the new year, as cutting hair on New Year is considered bad luck due to the homonymic nature of the word hair, and the word for prosperity. Businesses are expected to pay off all the debts outstanding for the year before the New Year Eve, extending to debts of gratitude. Thus it is a common practice to send gifts and rice to close business associates, and extended family members. In many households where Buddhism or Taoism is prevalent, home altars and statues are cleaned thoroughly, and decorations used to adorn altars over the past year are taken down and burned a week before the new year starts, to be replaced with new decorations. Taoists will also send gods. An example would be burning a paper effigy of Zhao Jun, the kitchen god, the recorder of family functions. This is done so that the kitchen god can report to the Jade Emperor of the family household's transgressions and good deeds. Families often offer sweet foods in order to bribe the deities into reporting good things about the family. Prior to the reunion dinner, a Thanksgiving prayer offering to mark the safe passage of the previous year is held. Confucianists take the opportunity to remember the ancestors, and those who had lived before them are revered. The biggest event of any Chinese New Year's Eve is the reunion dinner, named as Nian Yifan. A dish consisting of fish will appear on the tables of Chinese families. It is for display for the New Year's Eve dinner. This meal is comparable to Christmas dinner in the West. In northern China, it is customary to make dumplings after dinner to eat around midnight. Dumplings symbolize wealth because their shape resembles a Chinese sisei. By contrast, in the South, it is customary to make a glutinous New Year cake and send pieces of it as gifts to relatives and friends in the coming days of the New Year. Nian Gao, pinyin literally means New Year cake with a homophonous meaning of increasingly prosperous year in year out. After dinner, some families go to local temples hours before the new year begins to pray for a prosperous new year by lighting the first incense of the year. However, in modern practice, many households hold parties and even hold a countdown to the new year. Traditionally, firecrackers were once lit to scare away evil spirits with the household doors sealed, not to be reopened until the new morning in a ritual called opening the door of fortune. Beginning in 1982, the CCTV New Year's Gala was broadcast 4 hours before the start of the new year. First Day. The first day is for the welcoming of the deities of the heavens and earth, officially beginning at midnight. It is a traditional practice to light fireworks, burn bamboo sticks and firecrackers and to make as much of a din as possible to chase off the evil spirits as encapsulated by Nian, of which the term Guo Nian was derived. Many people, especially Buddhists, abstain from meat consumption on the first day because it is believed that this will ensure longevity for them. Some consider lighting fires and using knives to be bad luck on New Year's Day, so all food to be consumed is cooked the days before. On this day, it is considered bad luck to use the broom. Most importantly, the first day of Chinese New Year is a time to honor one's elders, and families visit the oldest and most senior members of their extended families, usually their parents, grandparents and great-grandparents. For Buddhists, the first day is also the birthday of Maitreya Bodhisattva, the Buddha-to-be. People also abstain from killing animals. Some families may invite a lion dance troupe as a symbolic ritual to usher in the Chinese New Year, as well as to evict bad spirits from the premises. Members of the family who are married also give red envelopes containing cash known as li si or anpo, a form of blessings and to suppress the aging and challenges associated with the coming year, to junior members of the family, mostly children and teenagers. Business managers also give bonuses through red packets to employees for good luck, smooth sailing, good health and wealth. While fireworks and firecrackers are traditionally very popular, some regions have banned them due to concerns over fire hazards. For this reason, various city governments issued bans over fireworks and firecrackers in certain precincts of the city. As a substitute, Large-scale fireworks display have been launched by governments in such cities as Hong Kong and Singapore. Second day. The second day of the Chinese New Year, known as beginning of the year, was when married daughters visited their birth parents, relatives and close friends. During the days of Imperial China, beggars and other unemployed people circulate, from family to family, carrying a picture of the god of wealth shouting, Kai Shen Dao. The god of wealth has come. Householders would respond with lucky money to reward the messengers. Business people of the Cantonese dialect group will hold a Hoi Nin prayer to start their business on the second day of Chinese New Year so they will be blessed with good luck and prosperity in their business for the year. As this day is believed to be the birthday of Che Kung, a deity worshipped in Hong Kong, worshippers go to Che Kung temples to pray for his blessing. A representative from the government asks Che Kung about the city's fortune through Khao Sim. Some believe that the second day is also the birthday of all dogs and remember them with special treats. Third day. The third day is known as Red Mouth. Chico is also called Chiku's Day. Rural villagers continue the tradition of burning paper offerings over trash fires. It is considered an unlucky day to have guests or go visiting. Hakka villagers in rural Hong Kong in the 1960s called it the Day of the Poor Devil and believed everyone should stay at home. This is also considered a propitious day to visit the temple of the god of wealth and have one's future told. Fourth day. In those communities that celebrate Chinese New Year for only 2 or 3 days, the fourth day is when corporate spring dinners kick off and business returns to normal. Fifth day. This day is the god of wealth's birthday. In northern China, people eat jiaozi, or dumplings, on the morning of Pawa. In Taiwan, businesses traditionally reopen on the next day, accompanied by firecrackers. It is also common in China that on the fifth day people will shoot off firecrackers to get Guan Yu's attention, thus ensuring his favor and good fortune for the new year. Seventh day. The seventh day, traditionally known as Runui, is the day when everyone grows 1 year older. In some overseas Chinese communities in Southeast Asia, such as Malaysia and Singapore, it is also the day when tossed raw fish salad, yasheng, is eaten for continued wealth and prosperity. For many Chinese Buddhists, this is another day to avoid meat, the seventh day commemorating the birth of Sakra, Lord of the Devas in Buddhist cosmology who is analogous to the Jade Emperor. Eighth day, another family dinner is held to celebrate the eve of the birth of the Jade Emperor, the ruler of heaven. People normally return to work by the eighth day. The store owners will host a lunch dinner with their employees, thanking their employees for the work they have done for the whole year. Approaching 12 midnight on this day, Hokkien people prepare for the Jade Emperor ritual during which incense is burnt and food offerings made to the Jade Emperor and also to Zhao Jun, the kitchen god who reports on each family to the Jade Emperor. Some people will hold a ritual prayer after midnight on the eighth day. In Malaysia, especially, people light fireworks, often more than on the first day. This practice of Bai Ti Gong can also be seen in Singapore. Ninth day. The ninth day of the new year is a day for Chinese to offer prayers to the Jade Emperor of Heaven in the Taoist pantheon. The ninth day is traditionally the birthday of the Jade Emperor. This day, called Ti Kong Dan, Hokkien, Thia Kong Tan, Ti Kong Saw Pai Ti Kong, is especially important to Hokkiens, even more important than the first day of the Chinese New Year. Come midnight of the eighth day of the new year, Hokkiens will offer thanks to the Emperor of Heaven. A prominent requisite offering is sugarcane. Legend holds that the Hokkien were spared from a massacre by Japanese pirates by hiding in a sugarcane plantation during the 8th and 9th days of the Chinese New Year, coinciding with the Jade Emperor's birthday. Since sugarcane is a near homonym to thank you in the Hokkien dialect, Hokkiens offer sugarcane on the eve of his birthday, symbolic of their gratitude. In the morning of this birthday, Taiwanese households set up an altar table with 3 layers, 1 top, noodles, fruits, cakes, tangy yuan, vegetable bowls, and unripe betel, all decorated with paper lanterns, and 2 lower levels to honor the deities below the Jade Emperor. The household then kneels 3 times and kowtows 9 times to pay obeisance and wish him a long life. Incense, tea, fruit, vegetarian food or roast pig, and gold paper is served as a customary protocol for paying respect to an honored person. 10th day, the Jade Emperor's Party is also celebrated on this day. 13th day, on the 13th day people will eat pure vegetarian food, in the belief that it will clean out their stomachs, due to consuming too much food over the preceding 2 weeks. This day is dedicated to the General Guan Yu, also known as the Chinese god of war. Guan Yu was born in the Han Dynasty and is considered the greatest general in Chinese history. He represents loyalty, strength, truth, and justice. According to history, he was tricked by the enemy and was beheaded. Almost every organization and business in China will pray to Guan Yu on this day. Before his life ended, Guan Yu had won over 100 battles, and that is a goal that all businesses in China want to accomplish. In a way, people look at him as the god of wealth or the god of success. 15th day, the 15th day of the New Year is celebrated as Yuanxiu Festival, also known as Shangyi Yuan Festival, or the Lantern Festival. Rice dumplings Tangi Yuan, a sweet glutinous rice ball brewed in a soup, are eaten this day. Candles are lit outside houses as a way to guide wayward spirits home. This day is celebrated as the Lantern Festival, and families walk the street carrying lighted lanterns. In Malaysia and Singapore, this day is celebrated by individuals seeking for a romantic partner, akin to Valentine's Day. Normally, single women would write their contact number on mandarin oranges and throw it in a river or a lake, while single men would collect them and eat the oranges. The taste is an indication of their possible love. Sweet represents a good fate while sour represents a bad fate. This day often marks the end of the Chinese New Year festivities. Traditional food. A reunion dinner, named as Nian Yi Fan, is held on New Year's Eve, during which family members gather for celebration. The venue will usually be in or near the home of the most senior member of the family. The New Year's Eve dinner is very large and sumptuous and traditionally includes dishes of meat and fish. Most reunion dinners also feature a communal hot pot, as it is believed to signify the coming together of the family members for the meal. Most reunion dinners also prominently feature specialty meats and seafood that are usually reserved for this and other special occasions during the remainder of the year. In most areas, fish is included, but not eaten completely, as the Chinese phrase "may there be surpluses every year" sounds the same as "let there be fish every year." 8 individual dishes are served to reflect the belief of good fortune associated with the number. If in the previous year a death was experienced in the family, 7 dishes are served. Red packets for the immediate family are sometimes distributed during the reunion dinner. These packets often contain money in certain numbers that reflect good luck and honorability. Several foods are consumed to usher in wealth, happiness, and good fortune. Several of the Chinese food names are homophones for words that also mean good things. Like many other New Year dishes, certain ingredients also take special precedence over others, as these ingredients also has similar sounding names with prosperity, good luck, or even counting money. Practices. History. During Cultural Revolution, State Council of the People's Republic of China announced that public should change customs, have a revolutionized and fighting Spring Festival. People need to working on preceding day's night, they didn't have holidays during Spring Festival Day. This was cancelled after Chinese economic reform. Red envelopes. Traditionally, red envelopes or red packets. Hokkien, Ang Pao. Hakka, Feng Bao. Are passed out during the Chinese New Year's celebrations, from married couples or the elderly to unmarried juniors. It is also common for adults or young couples to give red packets to children. Red packets are also known as a pound EO cent per hour squared E plus or minus during this period. Red packets almost always contain money, usually varying from a couple of dollars to several hundred. Per custom, the amount of money in the red packets should be of even numbers, as odd numbers are associated with cash given during funerals. The number 8 is considered lucky, and $8 is commonly found in the red envelopes in the U.S. The number 6 is also very lucky, as it sounds like smooth, in the sense of having a smooth year. Sometimes chocolate coins are found in the red packets. Odd and even numbers are determined by the first digit, rather than the last. 30 and 50, for example, are odd numbers, and are thus appropriate as funeral cash gifts. However, it is common and quite acceptable to have cash gifts in a red packet using a single banknote, a euro with 10 or 50 yuan bills used frequently. It is customary for the bills to be brand new printed money. Everything regarding the new year has to be new in order to have good luck and fortune. The act of requesting for red packets is normally called EC or TCO hectocubed NGBAO, EAZE euro, a Z. A married person would not turn down such a request, as it would mean that he or she would be out of luck in the new year. Red packets are generally given by established married couples to the younger non-married children of the family. It is custom and polite for children to wish elders a happy new year and a year of happiness, health and good fortune before accepting the red envelope. Red envelopes are then kept under the pillow and slept on for 7 days after Chinese New Year before opening, because it symbolizes good luck and fortune when you sleep on the red envelopes for 7 nights. In Taiwan in 2000s, sometimes some employers also give red packets as a bonus to maids, nurses or domestic workers from Southeast Asian countries, though whether this is appropriate is controversial. The Japanese have a similar tradition of giving money during the new year called otoshidama. Gift exchange. In addition to red envelopes, which are usually given from elder to younger, small gifts are also exchanged between friends or relatives during Chinese New Year. Gifts are usually brought when visiting friends or relatives at their homes. Common gifts include fruits, cakes, biscuits, chocolates, candies, or some other small gifts. Markets or village fairs are set up as the new year is approaching. These usually open-air markets feature New Year-related products such as flowers, toys, clothing, and even fireworks. It is convenient for people to buy gifts for their New Year visits as well as their home decorations. In some places, the practice of shopping for the perfect plum tree is not dissimilar to the Western tradition of buying a Christmas tree. Hong Kong filmmakers also release New Year celebration films, mostly comedies, in this time of the year. Fireworks. Bamboo stems filled with gunpowder that were burned to create small explosions were once used in ancient China to drive away evil spirits. In modern times, this method has eventually evolved into the use of firecrackers during the festive season. Firecrackers are usually strung on a long fused string so it can be hung down. Each firecracker is rolled up in red papers, as red is auspicious, with gunpowder in its core. Once ignited, the firecracker lets out a loud popping noise and, as they are usually strung together by the hundreds, the firecrackers are known for their deafening explosions that are thought to scare away evil spirits. The burning of firecrackers also signifies a joyful time of year and has become an integral aspect of Chinese New Year celebrations. Firecracker ban. The use of firecrackers, although a traditional part of celebration, has over the years led to many unfortunate outcomes. There have been reported incidents every year of users of fireworks being blinded, losing body parts, or suffering other grievous injuries, especially during the Chinese New Year season. Hence, many governments and authorities eventually enacted laws completely banning the use of firecrackers privately, primarily because of safety issues. Taiwan beginning 2008, firecrackers are banned in urban areas, but still allowed in rural areas. Mainland China as of 2008, most urban areas in mainland China permit firecrackers. In the first 3 days of the traditional New Year, it is a tradition that people compete with each other by playing with firecrackers. However, many urban areas banned them in the 1990s. For example, they were banned in Beijing's urban districts from 1993 to 2005. In 2004, 37 people were killed in a stampede when 4 million people gathered for a rumored Lantern Festival firework display in nearby Mian. Since the ban was lifted, the firecracker barrage has been tremendous. In Beijing, firecrackers are typically not allowed inside the Fifth Ring Road. But this is overlooked by authorities for the holiday, provided there are no government buildings nearby. Some residents in major cities look down on street-level fireworks from their tower blocks. Bans are rare in rural areas. Vietnam Euro 1996, fireworks were banned across the country because of its dangers. Hong Kong Euro fireworks are banned for security reasons. Some speculate a connection between firework use and the 1967 leftist riot. However, the government would put on a fireworks display in Victoria Harbour on the second day of the Chinese New Year for the public. Similar displays are also held in many other cities in and outside China. Singapore a partial ban on firecrackers was imposed in March 1970 after a fire killed 6 people and injured 68. This was extended to a total ban in August 1972, after an explosion that killed 2 people and an attack on 2 police officers attempting to stop a group from letting off firecrackers in February 1972. However, in 2003, the government allowed firecrackers to be set off during the festive season. At the Chinese New Year light up in Chinatown, at the stroke of midnight on the first day of the Chinese New Year, firecrackers are set off under controlled conditions by the Singapore Tourism Board with assistance from demolition experts from the Singapore Armed Forces. Other occasions where firecrackers are allowed to be set off are determined by the Tourism Board or other government organizations. However, they are not allowed to be commercially sold. Malaysia firecrackers are banned for the similar reasons as in Singapore. However, many Malaysians manage to smuggle them from Thailand to meet their private needs. Indonesia firecrackers and fireworks are forbidden in public during the Chinese New Year, especially in areas with significant non-Chinese population in order to avoid any conflict between the two. However, there were some exceptions. The usage of firecrackers is legal in some metropolitan areas such as Jakarta and Medan, where the degree of racial and cultural tolerance is higher. United States in 2007, New York City lifted its decade-old ban on firecrackers, allowing a display of 300,000 firecrackers to be set off in Chinatown's Chatham Square. Under the supervision of the fire and police departments, Los Angeles regularly lights firecrackers every New Year's Eve, mostly at temples and the shrines of benevolent associations. The San Francisco Chinese New Year Parade, the largest outside China, is accompanied by numerous firecrackers, both officially sanctioned and illicit. Australia, except the Northern Territory, does not allow use of fireworks at all, except when used by a licensed pyrotechnician. These rules also need a permit from local government, and from any relevant local bodies such as maritime or aviation authorities and hospitals, schools, etc., within a certain range. Philippines, despite the rise in firecracker-related injuries in 2009, the Department of Health has acknowledged that a total ban on firecrackers in the country will be hard to implement. Davao City, the first city in the country to impose a firecracker ban, has enjoyed injury-free celebrations for at least the last 11 years. Their ban has been in effect since 2002. Music, Happy New Year is a popular children unregistered trademark song for the New Year holiday. The melody is similar to the American folk song, Oh My Darling, Clementine. Chorus, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you all. We are singing. We are dancing. Happy New Year to you all. Clothing mainly featuring the color red or bright colors is commonly worn throughout the Chinese New Year because it was once believed that red could scare away evil spirits and bad fortune. In addition, people typically wear new clothes from head to toe to symbolize a new beginning in the new year. Wearing new clothes also symbolizes having more than enough things to use and wear in the new year. Red is a color of good luck. Family portrait. Taking family portrait is an important ceremony after the relatives are gathered. The photo is taken at the hall of the house or taken in front of the house. The most senior male head of the family sits in the center. Symbolism. As with all cultures, Chinese New Year traditions incorporate elements that are symbolic of deeper meaning. One common example of Chinese New Year symbolism is the red diamond-shaped Fu characters, which are displayed on the entrances of Chinese homes. This sign is usually seen hanging upside down, since the Chinese word Dao is homophonous or nearly homophonous within all varieties of Chinese. Therefore, it symbolizes the arrival of luck, happiness, and prosperity. For the Cantonese-speaking people, if the Phuc sign is hung upside down, the implied Dao sounds like the Cantonese word for poor, producing pour the luck away, which would usually symbolize bad luck. This is why the Phuc character is not usually hung upside down in Cantonese communities. Red is the predominant color used in New Year celebrations. Red is the emblem of joy, and this color also symbolizes virtue, truth and sincerity. On the Chinese opera stage, a painted red face usually denotes a sacred or loyal personage and sometimes a great emperor. Candies, cakes, decorations and many things associated with the New Year and its ceremonies are colored red. The sound of the Chinese word for red is in Mandarin homophonous with the word for prosperous. Therefore, red is an auspicious color and has an auspicious sound. Lanhua. Lanhua can be a form of Chinese colored wood block printing, for decoration during Chinese New Year. Flowers. The following are popular floral decorations for the New Year and are available at New Year markets. Icons and ornaments. Spring travel. Traditionally, families gather together during the Chinese New Year. In modern China, migrant workers in China travel home to have reunion dinners with their families on Chinese New Year's Eve. Owing to the large number of interprovincial travelers, special arrangements were made by railways, buses and airlines starting from 15 days before the New Year's Day. This 40-day period is called Chunyuan, and is known as the world's largest annual migration. More interurban trips are taken in mainland China in this period than the total population of China. In Taiwan, spring travel is also a major event. The majority of transportation in western Taiwan is north-south direction long-distance travel between urbanized north and hometowns in rural south. Transportations in eastern Taiwan and that between Taiwan and islands are less convenient. Cross-strait flights between Taiwan and mainland China began in 2003 as part of 3 links, mostly for Taiwanese businessmen to return to Taiwan for the New Year. Festivities outside China. California. The San Francisco Chinese New Year Festival and Parade is the oldest and largest event of its kind outside of Asia, and the largest Asian cultural event in North America. The festival incorporates Grant and Kearny streets into its street festival and parade route, respectively. The use of these streets traces its lineage back to early parades beginning the custom in San Francisco. In 1849, with the discovery of gold and the ensuing California gold rush, over 50,000 people had come to San Francisco to seek their fortune or just a better way of life. Among those were many Chinese, who had come to work in the gold mines and on the railroad. By the 1860s, the residents of San Francisco's Chinatown were eager to share their culture with their fellow San Francisco residents who may have been unfamiliar with it. The organizers chose to showcase their culture by using a favorite American tradition, the parade. They invited a variety of other groups from the city to participate, and they marched down what today are Grant Avenue and Kearny Street carrying colorful flags, banners, lanterns, drums and firecrackers to drive away evil spirits. Southeast Asia. In some countries of Southeast Asia, Chinese New Year is a national public holiday and considered to be one of the most important holidays of the year. The biggest celebrations take place in Malaysia and Singapore. Chinese New Year in Singapore is accompanied by various festive activities. One of the main highlights is the Chinatowns celebrations. In 2010, this included a festive street bazaar, nightly staged shows at Kreta Air Square and a lion dance competition. The Chingay Parade also features prominently in the celebrations. It is an annual street parade in Singapore, well known for its colorful floats and wide variety of cultural performances. The highlights of the parade for 2011 include a fire party, multi-ethnic performances and an unprecedented traveling dance competition. Chinese New Year is considered to be the most important festival for Filipino Chinese in the Philippines, and its celebration has also extended to the non-Chinese majority Filipinos. In 2012, Chinese New Year was included in the calendar of holidays as a special, non-working holiday, to be observed nationwide. Chinese New Year, officially named Tahun Baru Imlek, has also been celebrated by Chinese Indonesians since 1999 after President Suharto stepped down. It was declared a public holiday in 2003. Other parts of the world. Chinese New Year is also celebrated annually in many Western cities with significant Chinese populations. Among the cities with such parades are San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York City, Boston, Wellington, Toronto, and Vancouver. However, even smaller cities that are historically connected to Chinese immigration, such as Butte, Montana, have recently hosted parades. Both London and San Francisco claim to host the largest New Year celebration outside of Asia. In San Francisco, over 100 units participates to the Chinese New Year parade held since 1958, which is attended by some 500,000 people along with another 3 million TV viewers in London. The celebrations, which take place throughout Chinatown, Leicester Square and mainly with concerts and performances on Trafalgar Square, attract 300,000 people and 500,000 for the entire festival according to the organisers. With one of the largest Chinese populations outside of Asia, Sydney also claims to have the largest Chinese New Year celebrations outside of Asia, with over 600,000 people attending the celebrations in Chinatown annually. The events there span over 3 weeks, including a launch celebration, outdoor markets, evening street food stalls, Chinese top opera performances, dragon boat races, a film festival and multiple parades that incorporate Chinese, Japanese, Korean and Vietnamese performers. More than 100,000 people attend, notably the main parade with over 3,500 performers. The festival also attracts international media coverage, reaching millions of viewers in Asia. The festival in Sydney is organised in partnership with a different Chinese province each year. In Paris, the celebrations are held since the 1980s in several districts during 1 month with many performances, and the main of the 3 parades with 40 groups and 4,000 performers is attended alone by more than 200,000 people in the 13th arrondissement. In Mauritius, home to a long-standing Chinese population, Chinese New Year is one of the public holidays and festivals, although Mauritians of Chinese origin represents only 3% of the population. Many celebrate the festival in Chinatown, Kolkata, India, where a significant community of people of Chinese origin exists. In Kolkata, Chinese New Year is celebrated with lion and dragon dance. In Pakistan, the Chinese New Year is also celebrated among the sizable Chinese expatriate community that lives in the country. During the festival, the Chinese embassy in Islamabad arranges various cultural events in which Pakistani arts and cultural organizations and members of the civil society also participate. In Sabah, Malaysia, the Dusun Tatana in Kuala Penang also celebrate Chinese New Year. Their Chinese New Year mixed with traditional customs of the native. Greetings. The Chinese New Year is often accompanied by loud, enthusiastic greetings, often referred to as a Permil C5e in Mandarin or a Permil A2e in Cantonese, loosely translated as auspicious words or phrases. New Year couplets, printed in gold letters on bright red paper, are another way of expressing auspicious New Year wishes. They probably predate the Ming dynasty, but did not become widespread until then. Today, they are ubiquitous with Chinese New Year. Some of the most common greetings include simplified Chinese, E-degree to the first A to the first. Traditional Chinese, E-degree to the first A. Pinyin, Zhaniankuai La. Zhutping, San 1 Nin 4 Fai 3 Lock 6. Ph Angstrom E Jasin Na registered trademark Car Squared I Loe K. Hakka, Sin Gen Kai Lock. Teshnese, Slin Nen Phi Lock. A more contemporary greeting reflective of Western influences, it literally translates from the greeting Happy New Year, more common in the West. But in northern parts of China, traditionally people say simplified Chinese, ER to the first A. Traditional Chinese, ER to the first A. Pinyin, Gui squared near NHCO instead of simplified Chinese, E-degree to the first A to the first. Traditional Chinese, E-degree to the first A, to differentiate it from the International New Year. And ER to the first A can be used from the first day to the 5th day of Chinese New Year. However, after the first A is considered very short and therefore somewhat discourteous. Simplified Chinese, Rioa E cent. Traditional Chinese, Rioak unregistered trademark 1/4 E squared. Pinyin, Gawan Gxc Far Kalai. Hokkien, Kiong He Hot Chai. Cantonese, Gung 1 Eri 2 Fat 3 Koi 4. Hakka, Gong Eri Fat Choi, which loosely translates to congratulations and be prosperous. Often mistakenly assumed to be synonymous with Happy New Year, its usage dates back several centuries. While the first two words of this phrase had a much longer historical significance, the last two words were added later as ideas of capitalism and consumerism became more significant in Chinese societies around the world. The saying is now commonly heard in English-speaking communities for greetings during Chinese New Year in parts of the world where there is a sizable Chinese-speaking community, including overseas Chinese communities that have been resident for several generations, relatively recent immigrants from Greater China, and those who are transit migrants. Numerous other greetings exist, some of which may be exclaimed out loud to no one in particular in specific situations. For example, as breaking objects during the New Year is considered inauspicious, one may then say Year Cubed, a registered trademark per mil immediately, which means everlasting peace year after year. Sui, meaning age, is homophonous with C cent, in demonstration of the Chinese love for wordplay in auspicious phrases. Similarly, R to the first EO per mil E currency, a wish for surpluses and bountiful harvests every year, plays on the word yao that can also refer to ish, making it a catchphrase for fish-based Chinese New Year dishes and for paintings or graphics of fish that are hung on walls or presented as gifts. The most common auspicious greetings and sayings consist of 4 characters, such as the following: EC per million to the first MCNTANG, may your wealth, gold and jade come to fill a hall, AA plus or minus E or DAR ZHCNHA cubed NGTA, may you realize your ambitions, E zeta eta NGCHANJIA, far greet the new year and encounter happiness, EAYNSHA, may all your wishes be fulfilled. A per mil E paragraph EO per mil E currency jar QA Nicara, may your happiness be without limit, CA plus or minus R cubed, a registered trademark per mil Zabar Opa NGAN, may you hear, in a letter that all is well, a Euro EO copyright Yar Banwa NLA, may a small investment bring 10,000-fold profits, CA equals E unregistered trademark Afar Shah squared Ushua NGQUAN, may your happiness and longevity be complete. E squared Euro squared, a paragraph Sahoka Ija NBCO, when wealth is acquired, precious objects follow. These greetings or phrases may also be used just before children receive their red packets, when gifts are exchanged, when visiting temples, or even when tossing the shredded ingredients of yushang, particularly popular in Malaysia and Singapore. Children and their parents can also pray in the temple, in hopes of getting good blessings for the new year to come. Children and teenagers sometimes jokingly use the phrase EOAC unregistered trademark 1/4 E squared, C or Year 3/4, roughly translated as congratulations and be prosperous, now give me a red envelope. In the Hakka dialect the saying is more commonly said as Gung He Fat Choi, Fung Bao De Yului, which would be written as EOAC unregistered trademark 1/4 E squared, C or E euro, a 3/4 a euro, a mixture of the Cantonese and Mandarin variants of the saying. Back in the 1960s, children in Hong Kong used to say EOAC unregistered trademark 1/4 E squared, a ZE euro, a 3/4 E paragraph E, which was recorded in the pop song Kowloon Hong Kong by Renets in 1966. Later in the 1970s, children in Hong Kong used the saying, EOAC unregistered trademark 1/4 E squared, a ZE euro, a 3/4, a 1/4 EOA degree, A9S Shui, roughly translated as, congratulations and be prosperous, now give me a red envelope, 50 cents is too little, don't want $1 either. It basically meant that they disliked small change euro coins, which were called hard substance. Instead, they wanted soft substance, which was either a $10 or a $20 note. See also, Lunar New Year fireworks display in Hong Kong, the birthday of Chakung, notes. References: Welch, Patricia Bland. Chinese New Year. Oxford University Press.